my sink is dripping underneath, and I've traced it to where this, it's called the pop-up stopper, where this pop-up stopper gets moved up and down. There's an assembly that comes in and pivots, called the pivot arm, pivot rod. It pivots this up and down. But I wanted to just show all the parts, how a sink works, and then we'll get into the details. So anyways, this is the lift rod handle. So when you pull this up, there's another piece of metal that goes down the back called the lift rod, and when you lift that, the lift rod comes up, and there's what's called a pivot rod that it connects to, which is positioned like my finger, and the pivot rod goes up and down, and it pivots this pop-up stopper up or down. So if it's up, the water flows out, and if it's pivot rod's down, pop-up stopper's down, and it lets your sink fill up with water. So I'll just show you what those look like inside. This is the inside of my sink. All the sinks are pretty much the same. I wanted to show you this pull rod. So the pull rod connects to the pull rod handle at the top that I was talking about before. So when you pull the handle up, when your hand's at the sink, the pull rod goes up. And connected to this pull rod is another rod that connects into this hole. And when you pull the pull rod handle up, there's the rod here pivots like so, and this the end of this rod is connected to the pop-up stopper, and you can, when the motion is like this, the pop-up stopper gets pulled down and it closes the drain and the water fills up. When you push the pull rod handle down, the pivot goes down, pivot rod pushes the pop-up stopper up, and the water drains out. So my problem is that there's a ball attached to the rod, and it gets firmly screwed into this fitting right here, and there's a leak. So something is wrong. So it's either the ball or it's the fitting itself. So I'm going to just see what the problem is. Now I've got the ball rod, all this stuff disassembled here at the bottom. That's what it looks like. So this is the pop-up stopper. So imagine it vertical in the sink. So when you pull the handle up, like I said before, this ball rod here goes into the lift rod. The lift rod goes up and down because of you're pulling it up with the lift rod handle. When you pull the lift rod handle up, it goes like that, and it would pull the pop-up stopper down, and it causes the water to stop draining, and vice versa. If you push the handle up by the sink down, this happens, the pop-up stopper goes up and the water drains. So what's happening is this ball is firmly attached onto this rod here, and this goes into what I showed before, into this little threaded hole right there, and it creates a nice firm seal between this and the water. The water can't come out and drip onto the bottom, but that is, you can see that is happening. So that's my problem. So I bought a new rod, ball, and other things. This is a threaded nut, so this screws into that the fitting on the downspout, and then this is a spring lock that goes behind. After you get this ball rod installed, the end of this rod pokes out of the back of the lift rod, right? And to keep it firmly in place, there's a little piece of metal here that you just squeeze, and you just basically wedge the ball rod firmly into the sink. So I'll show you what's going on here. This is the replacement kit, I guess, from Home Depot. Comes with 3 different size balls, comes with 1 rod, and then it comes with these 2 stoppers. So I'll start with these stoppers. But this ball, the rod, by the way, is threaded on both ends. This does the job of this spring lock. So if you can imagine this spring lock, when you twist it like that, those 2 holes will the rod will fit into those 2 holes like so. You release this and it creates a nice tight seal. This is a more elegant solution, I guess, but what I found is that this rod is too long for my sink. So this does not allow me to connect the lift rod neatly to this ball rod that then fits into the downspout. This is like way too big. I've only got about that much space. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use these 2 threaded washer fasteners. I'm going to take those off, and I'm going to revert back to using this threaded spring, and it'll probably end up like around here somewhere. And so the distance between the lift rod and the down spout is going to be about like that. So the other pieces that you get in the kit are 3 different sized balls, and the balls relate to this. So that is what gets threaded onto the downspout, and this comes with the pipes. It doesn't come in the kit, so you have to use the one that's with your pipe, which makes sense, right? Because the pipes were installed by whoever of a particular size. And what I did is you can just take the balls and just pop them in. They'd go like this, and just see which one fits the snuggest. I just experimented a little bit, and I think the small one is going to do the best job. Actually, it fits in there really nicely, like so. I just seem to have the nicest, the most contact. So what I'll do, I'll install it and then turn on the water and see if it leaks. If it doesn't leak, then I'll leave it. If it does leak, I'll try the medium one, and then hope for the best. So just as if you were starting from scratch, your sink would look something like this. If you were looking to replace the ball rod, you would unscrew this threaded fitting, pull the ball and the ball rod out like this, and then depending on what you've got to attach the ball rod to the pull rod, just release whatever you've got and the ball rod comes out. And then what you've got to do, what I'm going to do is, this is the old one. I want this threaded piece from that matches up, marries up with the downspout, the pipe. I'm going to just discard that, and that ball, that's what I think is not fitting this very nicely, and it's leaking. I'll throw that away. I've got the new ball rod, and this has 2 threaded end on both sides. And then what I want to do, like I said, was the way it'll work is this end. This is the end that will go into the pop-up stopper. Okay, so it'll fit in there like that, and then this end will fit like that, and then the ball rod will get screwed into the ball like that, and then this will go through the pull rod, and then I'll put this spring lock at the very end and lock it all in place. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, there, so I've threaded the ball onto the end of the lift rod. This little end projects, and again it goes into the hole on the push-up stopper. Then there's inside of the threaded nut here, there's a little plastic gasket. As you can see, the white thing, that's what matches up to the ball, and that's what creates the seal. So when you pivot, with the lift rod handle, that's the motion that's happening, and it's a ball because it has to move up and down. So the idea is that that gasket would create a watertight seal, and that's where my leak is. So I'm going to just see, and like I said, I tried all the sizes, small, medium, large. The small one, it fits in there pretty nicely, as you can see, but again, I'll just use trial and error and see which one works the best. So what I'll do now is, I won't film it because I only got one hand, but I'll put this. What I'll do first, I'll put the pop-up stopper back in the sink so that the hole will be sitting kind of down around here. And then when you put the pop-up stopper in, make it so the hole can fit the little gray whatever I want to call it. Okay, so I'll do that now. All right, so I threaded. I got the ball rod in there. I know I can feel, just because of the tension, that it's the end is fit into the pop-up stopper hole. I can feel that I can hear it from upstairs in the sink, that the pop-up stopper is moving around. And then I threaded this on. I did it as tight as I could without breaking something. And then this ball rod goes through the lift rod. And then what I'll do is squeeze this spring lock onto the end, and then get it nice and tight on the end here. All right, that's installed now. And just jiggle it, just move it around until you get the kind of motion that makes you comfortable. The tighter it is, the harder it'll be to pull up and down. So I want to just leave it back there, not just firmly in place, not loose, not super tight, and I'm sure that'll work nicely. My little trick is, if I want to test for leaks, you can feel and reach, or I just put a piece of newspaper, paper towel on the bottom, and you can easily see the water dripping. So there's the lift handle. Because I've got the lift rod quite firmly connected with that spring lock. This moves firmly, but basically when I when I lift it up, it stays in place, is what I'm getting at. And when I want to let it drain, it'll go down. So there you can see the pop-up stopper moving as I pull the handle. So what I'm going to do is just turn on the water and fill up my trap and just see if it leaks. And it's pouring water, so I'm going to keep doing this until I get the right size. So what I found was this. This is the biggest ball. That's the smallest one. What I found was when the small ball was in, inside the push-up stopper, and this ball fits into a gasket on the, the screwed-in nut gasket that I talked about. I could feel the ball rod loose. I could shake it back and forth, so there wasn't a strong connection between the ball and the gasket. Okay, so the water was leaking right through. So I took out the small one, put in the medium one, and now that's in place. And when I shift it up and down, I've got this screwed in pretty tight. This moves quite firmly, and that ball is really settled in neatly and tightly against the gasket. So I don't think we're going to get much water leak, if at all. You might get some water because it is just a cheap ball and plastic gasket. So there might be a drip or two, but I think you're going to reach a point at which you're going to find the best solution. So I'm going to go with this. If I tightened it up a lot, it would just be hard to pull the handle up at the faucet. I'll back it off a little teeny bit. There, that's pretty easy to move up and down on the faucet handle, and I'll see how much water comes out of that. So you can see I've got the sink, a little bit of water in there. I've got the pop-up stopper depressed, so it's not letting the water drain. I'll use my hand to manually move the ball rod and open up the drain. There it goes. And I can feel the water draining. I'm feeling with my hand, and there's no leakage whatsoever down here. So that was definitely the right size. So that worked well. I'm going to call that a day. I'm going to attach the ball rod. I'll just show you. Put the ball rod through the hole in the pull rod. Put the spring on and call that a day. Just one last little video. I put the ball rod, I had it angled down as much as possible so that the faucet stays up as high as possible, and then when I want to hit the drain, it goes up like that, and then it pushes down. And the tension is in place because of the tension between the ball and the gasket that's threaded in here. Okay? All right, good luck again.